Hello, so I wanted to spend some time talking about sleep and supporting yourself in your sleep when you have Ehlers-Danlos hypermobility. So when you have loose joints, you can find yourself hurting yourself in your sleep by actually kind of falling out of place. So what I tend to do in my sleep is I'll sleep on this right side shoulder here, and then it's called subluxating. It's just one step below dislocating, but I'm pulling this joint out of the shoulder and sleeping for hours like that, which then unsurprisingly causes me to have a very, very uncomfortable shoulder all day long. It can cause dysautonomia, where I get muscle tightening and things like that in response to having the shoulder be pulled out of the socket. So yeah, you don't want to be moving your shoulder this much, especially in your sleep. Another thing that I tend to do in my sleep is I'll externally rotate my leg, and that actually causes my hip to come out of joint sometimes too. So I worked with my physical therapist, and she gave me some tips on how to sleep supported, and it makes a huge difference. So the first thing I want to talk about is your pillow. The brand doesn't matter so much as the filling. And so what my physical therapist had me switch to was shredded memory foam. So if you can see inside here, I have memory foam bits and pieces. So the memory foam itself, I find to be like, if it's a solid memory foam, it's a little too hard and forces me into positions, which my joints, because they're not stable, will go into positions they're not supposed to. So this memory foam is a nice hybrid. I like to sleep with 3 pillows. So I line them up long ways. And I just got these pillows at a big chain retailer that we all have in our towns. And I line them up like this. The next step I have is to keep that hip in place. What I do is I have a towel rolled up and I sleep with it under my knees. This keeps my knees from moving too far. It keeps my hips in place because it's elevated. It's also, as someone with hypermobility, I can always hyperextend my leg when I sleep, especially if I'm on a soft bed or something like that. And so you want to have a nice little relaxed bend in your leg. So the next part of my bed setup is my little towel roll. I do this in hotels even. I have a neck roll where I just take a hand towel and roll it up. And for me, I have a misshapen spine, so you might need support in a different location. I basically put it where my last cervical neck vertebrae and my first thoracic chest vertebrae meet. So for me, I can feel there's a bump there, and I just want to support that bump. So that's the location I put my towel, and I lay down and I'm supported. Again, when I'm in a hotel, find a towel, wrap it up, super easy. The last thing I do, one of my little memory foam pillows came with a little baby pillow. I use that as lumbar support. So I lay down and my back has a nice little arch to it. So something we'll talk about in the future, but we can briefly go over now, is you might have 2 different ways that you hold your pelvis. You might tuck your pelvis or you might arch your pelvis. I'm a tucker. I hold my belly button in against my back and I tuck my pelvis up. It's not a very good way to sleep. So having a little lumbar support pillow forces me into a little bit more of an arch than I would naturally have, and helps support my spine while I'm sleeping. And then the last thing I do is a very sort of deflated, sad-looking travel neck pillow. I use it to keep myself from, what I will tend to do in my sleep is put my ear to my shoulder. And by putting the pillow there, I can no longer crunch my neck as much. It forces a little bit of support around my neck. And so every single night, this is how I sleep. I sleep with my neck roll, my 3 pillows, my neck pillow, my towel roll, and I'm fully supported, and I'm not gonna fall out of place on my joints. I also sleep on my back. Again, sleeping on your side, you're more likely to pull something out of place, as I had demonstrated. If I sleep on my side, I end up pulling my shoulder out of the joint. So it was really hard. I had to train myself to sleep like this, to sleep on my back. It's not a natural thing for me, but I feel so much better doing it. So it's worth the time and effort to put yourself in, to train yourself. You just have to keep practicing and practicing and practicing, and eventually you'll learn to sleep on your back longer and longer periods of time. When I started seeing my physical therapist, I kid you not, the vertebrae in the back of my neck were all misaligned. And it was because I slept like I was the exorcist. I was on my tummy with my head turned all the way behind my shoulder. And that's definitely not a good way to sleep. It was why I had pinched nerves and a lot of neck pain, and was very lucky to have a very talented physical therapist who put me on the road. So again, first thing you want to invest in is shredded memory foam pillows. I think these were 2 for $50 and then $50 for the smaller set, but well worth the investment. Again, you already have hand towels at home. Roll one up, put it under your neck, support it. You'll know you have it in the right place because it'll feel like there's nothing there. If I have it up here, I can feel it, and it feels really uncomfortable. It feels like it's you can't see anything. What am I doing? Okay. Nope, still can't see anything. Okay. So if I put the neck roll too high up in my neck, it will feel like there's a bump. And so you got to make sure you put it in the right spot where it almost feels like nothing's there. You just want it to be a support. You can fold up a towel. You don't have to roll it. You can fold it up for lumbar support. Again, you already have a towel at home. And then another towel roll for your knees. So pillows and towels are the trick to sleeping well with Ehlers-Danlos hypermobility. Good luck, good night, sweet dreams. I hope this works out for you.